Question number 2 of the 100 multiple choice California bar questions. I'm going to go ahead and read it. And then we're going to guess what the answer is, or maybe we know off the top of our head. I've underlined the main question before we go ahead and read it. The main question is to ask you, between the 4 choices, what the principal question for the court is. And then it's basically saying, is Homer's voluntary work sufficient consideration for Carl's promise to give Homer a weather vane? And then for B, is Carl's statement about the weather vane enforceable as an oral modification of a written contract? Or C, the parole evidence rule, parole is supposed to have no E at the end, bars admission of evidence of the promise to give Homer the weather vane. D, Carl's statement about the weather vane constituted promise. Okay, so now you've got the 4 main questions. You can think about what you think that answers. I'm going to read you the fact pattern now, and then we'll discuss briefly, and then I'll tell you the answer. So here's the fact pattern. Assume that during his vacation, Homer voluntarily spent 2 days helping Carl construct the house. At the end of the second day, Carl mentioned the fact that he had an antique weather vane, and Homer said he would like to buy it. Carl stated, "You've already done enough for me. I'll give you the weather vane and install it tomorrow." Homer said, "Thanks a lot." When Carl refused to deliver or install the weather vane, Homer sued. So this is what we want to know. We want to know which is the best answer as to what the question for the court would be, the main question. And so we have A, B, C, or D. A, Homer's voluntary work was sufficient consideration for Carl's promise to give Homer the weather vane. Put down your answer or think about it for a second. B, Carl's statement about the weather vane is enforceable as a oral modification of a written contract. Or C, let's see, the parole evidence rule bars admission of evidence of the promise to give Homer the weather vane. Or D, Carl's statement about the weather vane constituted a promise. So you can do this by elimination, which is true, which is false, right? And which do you think is the best answer? I'm going to pause for a second, and then I'm going to kind of tell you why I think it's the right answer, and on the theories that this is based, if you want to go look those theories up. So the answer is A, Homer's voluntary work was sufficient consideration for Carl's promise to give Homer the weather vane. So what I was looking at first is I was looking at, do they even have a contract, right? I was looking at formation, and I was saying, well, what do you need for a contract? You need mutual assent, consideration, bargain for exchange, and no defenses, right? So that's for a contract. And then I was like, well, is this UCC or is this common law? And this is a separate thing from the common law contract that they have for the house. It's a sort of outside situation. So he's wanting a weather vane. He made an offer to buy it, and he got a counter offer. That's okay. You did enough voluntary work. I'm going to go ahead and give it to you. So that's a promise. And it's like, good deal. Well, is that enforceable? The court's going to have to answer that question. Could you bring a case under quasi-contract, right? Maybe there's formation issues, but under UCC, maybe they want to be a little bit more liberal about that. So he's got a theory that he's going to sue under, and I'm thinking maybe it's quasi-contracts, even though gifts are not enforceable, because it was an oral agreement, and I don't know what state they're in, but a lot of places oral agreements are enforceable. if the amount is under a certain amount, of course. And so he might be able to recover under quantummeruit. So that's what I got for you today. I hope that you enjoyed this discussion on question 2, and put your comments in the box below, any impressions you have about this particular question and what you think. And if you want to look anything up, if you have other ideas about theories, and if you disagree that that's the best answer about the principal question for the court. Thank you and have a great day. Take care. Bye.